Hello students, today we will be talking about simple lipids, that is fats and oils, or triglycerides or triacylglycerols. Let me remind you that triglycerides are most abundant form of dietary lipids. They include 98% of dietary lipids and rest of the 2% is being composed of cholesterol and its esters and phospholipids. Now, chemically, triglycerides are esters of glycerol with three fatty acid molecules. Now, ester in organic chemistry means when an alcohol reacts with carboxylic acid, the resultant compound is an ester. So here the alcohol is glycerol. Trihydroxyalcohol has three OH groups present in it. When it reacts with a fatty acids, the resultant compound is an ester. This is the general formula of triglyceride you can see over here. So from this figure also you can see OH group of glycerol. Three OH groups of these glycerol are being attached to three fatty acid molecules. So the resultant compound is triglyceride. Now let us see in the next slide. Triglycerides now they basically contain glycerol, that is the backbone. Another important thing about triglyceride, they contain fatty acid molecules, three fatty acid molecules. Thirdly, they contain elements like carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Now if glycerol is bonded to one fatty acid, then we call it monoglyceride. Similarly, if glycerol is bonded to two fatty acid molecules, then we call it diglycerides. On the contrary, if it is bonded to three fatty acid molecules, then it is a triglyceride. Now, chemically, this is how triglycerides are generated in the laboratory. That means we have a glycerol over here. The three OH groups are linked to three fatty acid molecules. With loss of three molecules of water, we get a triglyceride molecule. This is a condensation reaction with loss of three molecules of water. Now triglycerides can be of two types. One would be simple, other would be mixed. So these are two mixed triglycerides. So what we find here, the three carboxylic, the three fatty acids molecule, they are dissimilar. Here C17H33, here C15H31, here again C15H31. Again here C17H33, C15H31, C17H35. That means they bear different hydrocarbon chains over here. So they are mixed triglycerides. They are asymmetric triglycerides. Means they contain two or three different fatty acid units in the molecule. This compound is oleodipalmitin, as you see here. The other compound, this one is oleopalmitostearin. Now they have very important functions also. They have a protective role. They protect our internal organs. Thirdly, they play the role of heat insulation. Subcutaneous fat which we find in the body acts as body's heat insulator. Lastly, they are involved in providing energy. They are source of energy. When energy needs are created, that is especially during fasting, during exercising for a long period of time, triglycerides are catabolized. They are subject to degradation to fatty acids and energy is extracted from fatty acids. Now they help in absorption of nutrients. Absorption of nutrients, especially fat soluble vitamins A, D and K, is possible with these lipids only. It has been seen when the levels of triglycerides are very low, our body will not get sufficient nutrients, which could otherwise call vitamin deficiency and malnutrition. Now, as we said earlier, the backbone of triglycerides is glycerol. We talked about glycerol, and other one is fatty acid. Fatty acid is aliphatic carboxylic acid, as you can see here, RCOH. R is the aliphatic hydrocarbon chain. It is non-polar fat. It is the alkyl group. Now fatty acids can be grouped into two, that is saturated fatty acid and unsaturated fatty acid. This classification is possible on the presence or absence of double bonds. Saturated means presence of single bonds only or absence of double bond. Unsaturated means presence of double bond in the hydrocarbon chain. Now, depending upon the number of double bonds present, unsaturated fatty acids can be further grouped into monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acid. Monounsaturated fatty means presence of one double bond, and polyunsaturated fatty acid in presence of more than one double bond. You can see butyric acid here. It is a saturated fatty acid. Only single bonds are present over here between carbons. This is unsaturated fatty acid. It has a one double bond over here. It is monounsaturated fatty acid. Other one is linoleic acid. There are two double bonds present, one here and one here. So it is polyunsaturated fatty acid. Now, on the basis of chain length, that is hydrocarbon chain, fatty acids can be grouped into three small classes: short chain fatty acid, medium chain fatty acid, and long chain fatty acids. Now, common saturated fatty acid, for example, acetic acid bears 2 carbon chain, butyric acid bears 4 carbons, valeric acid bears 5, caproic acid bears 6 carbons, lauric bears 12, and myristic acid bears 14 carbons. Now, common unsaturated fatty acid, it means this palmitoleic acid. Palmitoleic acid we can see here. Other one is oleic acid. Each bear one double bond, that is monoenoic acid. Now, elatic acid bears two double bond, dienoic acid. Similarly, linolenic acid bears four double bond, tetranoic acid. Similarly, arachidonic bears five, again this tetraenoic acid. Now we have other fatty acids also, which we call essential fatty acids. They are required by human beings. They are not produced in the body. They are to be supplied in the body because our body does not have enzymes to synthesize them. So essential fatty acid EFA, they are polyunsaturated fatty acid. For example, linoleic acid and alpha linolenic acid. Now they have important functions also. They are the components of cell membranes. They are needed to produce arachidonic acid. They lower the risk of cardiovascular disease and fatty liver. So obviously deficiency of essential fatty acids will lead to skin issues, acanthosis. They can lead to fatty liver issues. They can cause swelling of mitochondrial membrane, which will hinder in the reduction of oxidative phosphorylation. Now, how to number these fatty acids? Now this is CH3, CH2, 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 CH2. Finally, you have somewhere a double bond, and this is the carboxylic, and they bear a carboxylic carbon end. Now we can carbon atoms adjacent to this carboxylic this group, that is number 1, 2, 3. This carboxylic group is numbered 1, and this carbon would be 2, next carbon would be 3, 4, etc. So other way would be to number them. You observe this carboxyl group over here. The carbon atom adjacent to it would be labeled as alpha, next one would be beta, and next one would be gamma. And the terminal methyl group which you find over here, this would be known as omega carbon. This would be called omega carbon, or we can also call it N carbon. This is the nomenclature of these very fatty acids. So next thing would we talk about isomerism in fatty acids. As we have seen in unsaturated fatty acids, they do contain a double bond, carbon-carbon double bond, maybe 1, 2, 3, etc. as we have seen in the previous slides. If hydrogens lie on the same side of this very carbon-carbon double bond, either this side or this side, then it is cis isomer. If hydrogens are situated on the opposite side of this carbon-carbon double bond, then it is trans. So accordingly, we have cis isomers, these fatty acids, and we also have trans fatty acids. Now cis isomers, all naturally occurring fatty acids are cis. They enhance the fluidity of cell membrane. Now we can classify these fatty acids on the basis of this omega carbon atom. Now we have fatty acids which belong to omega 3 series, fatty acids belong to omega 6 series, fatty acids belong to omega 9 series. Now omega 3 fatty acids are very much preferred. They lower the risk of heart disease. Example is alpha linolenic acid, timnodenoic acid, cervonic acid. And 6 series ones are linoleic acid, gamma linolenic acid, arachidonic acid. And omega 9 series include oleic acid and elladic acid. Thank you.